Hey there, welcome to Your Heart Opening Flow with me, Lena. This practice is going to be focused on opening up our upper body and connecting to our heart space. For those of you who have flowed with me before, good to see you back on the mat. And for those of you who have never flowed with me before, I look forward to sharing this practice with you. So grab whatever props that you usually practice with and come meet me on the mat. Before we begin, let's take a moment to fully arrive onto the mat, connecting to our breath and our heart, the two things that give us life. So coming into your comfortable seat, however you wish to take it today, feel your sitting bones fully grounded and supported by the earth. Find a nice tall spine here, imagining the crown of your head lifting towards the sky as you relax your shoulders down and away from your ears. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and bring your attention to your breath. Focusing on the flow of air as you inhale and exhale. Breathing into the belly as you inhale, feel the way the belly expands like a balloon. And as you exhale, the balloon deflates, your belly contracting against your spine. Try to see if you can find an even breathing pattern with equal lengths of inhales and exhales, perhaps counting your breath if it helps. Continuing to breathe with the same pattern here, now shifting our focus to our heart space. With every breath, imagine your heart space expanding, opening up a bit more, ready to welcome whatever is coming your way with a warm embrace. As we move through our practice today, I invite you to carry this feeling of openness with you, trying to see if you can allow whatever preconceived ideas that you may have to melt away with each exhale, and simply allowing the practice to unfold organically without judgment. See if you can find a quality of softness in your practice today. Find grace in what you are showing up with full acceptance that where you are today is exactly where you need to be. Continuing to take your deep breaths here, settling in, getting grounded into your breath, the thing that will allow us to flow. With all that in mind, let's take one deep breath together to open our practice. So fully exhaling all the air out, then taking a deep inhale through the nose, and on the exhale, release the air out through the mouth. Whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes. We're just going to get started here with warming up with some cat-cow. So coming into your tabletop with your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Your hands are about shoulder width apart and your knees about hips width apart. Firmly planting your hands into the mat here, your fingers spread out wide. On the inhale, you're going to roll your shoulders back, drop your belly down, tilt your tailbone up towards the sky, coming into your cow pose. On the exhale, rounding your back here, tuck your tailbone in, tucking your chin into your chest, curling like a cat. Following me or following your own breath here, inhale, arch your back, look up, roll your shoulders back. Exhaling to round into your cat pose, really push into the mat with your 10 fingers. See if you can round a little bit more. 3 more rounds here. Inhaling, arching your back, rolling your shoulders back, looking up. Exhaling to round, tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale. Exhale to round again. Last round, inhaling to arch and exhaling to round. Inhaling, coming back to center. Reset yourself. On the next inhale, you're going to bring your right arms extended up towards the sky, opening yourself up towards the right side of the mat. We are going to thread that needle there, but before we do, see if you can open just a little bit more. Feel the opening in your chest area, as if you're reaching for something perhaps behind your head. On the next exhale, we're going to thread that right hand underneath the left armpit, bringing your right shoulder down onto the mat. Perhaps your right cheek or the top of your head rests on the mat as well. On the inhale, opening it back up again towards the right side of the mat. And then on the exhale, thread that needle, thread it through underneath the left armpits. Holding here for a moment. Inhale, last round, opening it up towards the right side. And exhale, thread it underneath the left armpits. Hold here. Feel the back side of the right shoulders opening, perhaps into your upper back. One more breath. Inhaling, opening your right arms up towards the sky again, and on the exhale, placing your right hand back down onto the mat. Let's do the same thing on the left side. Whenever you're ready, inhale, reach the left arms up towards the sky here, opening up towards the left side of the mat. This time, feeling the left side of your chest open. See if you can imagine you're reaching for something behind your head. Opening up a little bit more if you can. Then on the next exhale, threading that left hand underneath the right armpit, bringing your left shoulder down onto the mat, perhaps your left cheek, the left side of your head comes to graze the mat here. On the inhale, reaching your left arms, opening up towards the left side again. And on the exhale, thread that needle through, bring your left hand underneath your right armpit. One last round, inhaling to open it back up. And exhale, thread that needle through. Holding it here for a couple of breaths here, breathing into the upper back of the left side. Inhaling, opening it back up towards the left side again. Extend your left arms towards the sky, and then on the exhale, placing your left hand back down onto the mat. Coming back into our tabletop, we're going to now move into extended puppy. So walking both hands further towards the front of the mat here, making sure that your hips is still over your knees or slightly forward. On the exhale, you're going to sink your chest down towards the mat, resting either your forehead or your chin onto the mat here. With your arms extended straight, imagine you're trying to melt your heart onto the mat. We are going to hold here for about 5 breaths. You might start to feel a deep, intense sensation in your shoulders here. Just see if you can breathe into that space, relaxing your body down towards the mat a little bit more with every exhale. About 1 more breath here. And whenever you're ready, pushing yourself back up to tabletop. We are going to tuck our toes and send our hips up towards the sky, coming into your first downward dog of the practice. So in your downward dog here, really pushing into the mat with your 10 fingers, your fingers spread out wide. Your arms are straight, your spine nice and long here. And then trying to see if we can straighten our legs and ground our heels into the mat. If you're finding that you cannot straighten your legs or ground your heels, that's okay too. You can find a bend in your knees as deep as you need, bringing the focus on sending your chest closer towards your thighs to find a nice long spine here. Taking a moment here to connect with your body in your downward dog, asking it what it needs. So perhaps taking a couple of moments here to walk the dog, a couple of spinal rolls, or come on your tiptoes, bend your knees. Just do what you need to really stretch out the backside of the legs, the backside of the body here. And then whenever you're ready, coming to a still downward dog, grounding your heels into the mat. On the next inhale, you're going to reach your right leg up towards the sky, coming into your three-legged dog, keeping your hips squared towards the mat here, finding the length in your right leg. Keep reaching it up towards the sky here. Your toes can be pointed or flexed, up to you. Then bending into your right knee, opening your hips up towards the right side. Keep your shoulders squared. Your right knee is now pointing towards the sky. Your right heel as close to the sitting bone as possible. Feel the opening of the right hip flexor, engaging your glutes here. See if you can open a little bit more. Then on the exhale, leaning forward, coming into our tiger plank, bringing your right knee to touch your nose or your forehead, rounding your upper back here, really pushing into the mat, holding it here for one breath. Then planting your right foot between both hands here, sending your left knee down, coming into our low lunge. Make sure your hips are squared towards the front of the mat. On the inhale, lift your arms up beside your ears, extending your arms towards the sky, lengthening from the side body here. Making sure that your right knee is not surpassing your right ankle. So moving your right foot a little bit further towards the front of the mat if you need. On the next inhale, you're going to open both elbows out towards the side, your arms now 90-degree angle into your cactus arms. Lifting from the center of your heart, see if you can push your elbows back just a little bit more. Then on the exhale, we're going to shift our hips back, setting up for half split, straightening your right leg, flexing your right toes towards the ceiling or pointing it towards your face. Bringing our hands on either side of our leg here to place onto the mat or onto the block if you know you have tighter hamstrings and you have blocks on hand. We want to focus on finding length in the spine here, so rolling your shoulders back, pulling your chest forward. On the inhale, lifting your heart up, finding length in your spine. Then on the exhale, seeing if you can fold forward a little bit deeper without compromising your spine here. So no rounding of the back here. Keep pulling your chest forward, rolling your shoulders back. As you hold here, feel the stretch on the right hamstring, right calves. See if you can fold a little bit deeper. Then whenever you're ready, shifting your hips forward, coming back into our low lunge again, reaching your arms up towards the sky beside your ears, then opening your arms up towards the side, cactus arm again, pulling your elbows back. Let's move through a couple of rounds of dynamic movement here. On the exhale, shift your hips back, straighten your right leg, flex your right toes, hands onto the mat, coming into our half split. Then on the inhale, shift your hips forward again, arms up overhead, then out to the side, cactus arm, breathing into the heart space, feel the heart expand. 2 more rounds. Exhaling, shift your hips back, straighten your right leg, flex your right toes, coming into our half split. Then inhaling back to low lunge with your cactus arm open out towards the side. Last round here, exhaling, shift your hips back, flex your right toes, straighten your right leg, half split. And then inhaling, returning back to your low lunge here with your arms out towards the side. Keep pushing your elbows towards the back of the mat, feeling your chest and your shoulders open. Whenever you're ready, planting your hands on either side of your right foot here, then stepping your right leg back, coming into your plank pose. On the exhale, knees, chest, chin down onto the mat. Inhaling, rolling forward, coming into your cobra, either high or low cobra here. Feel free to take your modification. Rolling your shoulders back, lifting your heart up, looking straight forward. Then tucking your toes, lift your hips back up into your downward dog. Let's move on to the other side. On the next inhale, lift your left leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Keep your hips squared. Feel the extension through the left leg here, as if you want to reach your left leg further, higher towards the sky. Then bending into your left knee, open your hips up towards the left side. Your left knee now pointing towards the sky, and your left heel as close as possible to your sitting bones. Keeping your shoulders squared here. Feel the stretch of the left hip flexor as you work on opening the hip up more with every breath. Then on the next exhale, shifting forward, your shoulder over your wrist, your knee to nose, coming into your tiger plank, pushing into the mat there with your 10 fingers, rounding your upper back, holding it here for one breath. And then placing your left foot between your hands here, your right knee comes down. Setting up here in your low lunge, make sure that your hips are squared towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lift your body up, arms up overhead, reaching towards the sky. Your bicep by your ears. On the next inhale, open your arms up into cactus arm. Your arms are now 90-degree angle. Pushing your elbows towards the back as much as you can. Find a lift in your heart space. On the exhale, shift your hips back, straighten your left leg, and flex your left toes towards the sky or towards your face. Again, placing your hand here underneath your shoulders onto the mat or onto a block to give a little bit more height, create more space. Same with the other side, inhaling to find length in your spine here, lifting your heart up, rolling your shoulders back. Then on the exhale, folding over your left leg, see if you can go a little bit deeper again without compromising the spine here, so no rounded back here. Breathing here into the left hamstrings, into the left calves. Pull the left hip back, right hip slightly forward to square your hips. Let's move back into our low lunge. Inhale, shift your hips forward, arms up overhead first, then opening your arms into cactus arm. Then finding our dynamic movement here, moving with the breath. On the exhale, shift your hips back, straighten your left leg, flex your left toes, and fold over into your half split. Inhaling back into your low lunge again, open your arms into cactus arm. Exhaling back to half split, shift your hips back, straighten your left leg, flex your left toes. Inhale back up into your low lunge again, open your arms into cactus arm. 2 more rounds. Exhaling back to half split. Inhaling back to low lunge with your cactus arm. Exhaling, shifting back into your half split again for the last round. And inhale, shift your hips forward, reach your arms up overhead, opening your arms into cactus arm. See if you can expand a little bit more here, finding a lift in your heart space. Then planting both hands on either side of the left foot, step the left foot back, coming into your plank pose. On the exhale, knees, chest, chin onto the mat or low plank, chaturanga, your choice. Inhale, slide forward and lift up, coming into your cobra or upward dog. And then on the exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up, coming back into your downward dog. Taking one breath here in your downward dog. And whenever you're ready, slowly walking your feet to meet your palms at the front of the mat. With your feet about hips width apart, folding forward here, bringing both hands to grab a hold of opposite elbows. Allow yourself to fully relax in this pose. Perhaps you want to sway your body from left to right, maybe shaking your head no, maybe nodding your head yes. Just do what you need to do to let go of any tension you might be carrying in the backside of your body here. Taking a couple of deep breaths here, allowing yourself to fully relax in your forward fold. Then finding a slight bend in your knees, slowly roll up to mountain, one vertebrae at a time. From your lower back, middle back, upper back, neck, and lastly your head. Bringing your two hands to interlace behind your hips, palms can be closed or open, your choice. Rolling your shoulders back, finding a slight lift in your chest here. We're just going to take a couple of neck rolls to warm up our neck. So dropping your chin in towards your chest, then rolling your head towards the right side. Your right ear comes closer towards your right shoulder. Feeling the stretch on the left side of the neck. Then slowly rolling your head forward again, and then your left ear comes closer towards your left shoulder. Now feeling the stretch on the right side of the neck. Going at your own pace here, just rocking your head towards the left and the right. Maybe closing your eyes, turning your gaze inwards, and tune into the sensation that you feel in your neck. Continuing to move with your breath. Don't forget to breathe as you rock your head towards the left and the right. Then returning back to center with our chin parallel towards the ground, looking straight forward. Rolling your shoulders back on the inhale. On the exhale, I want you to bend your knees, bringing your chest closer towards your thighs, folding forward. Your interlaced hand comes overhead as if you want to reach your hands towards the sky or overhead to tap the mat in front of you. Feeling the opening of your shoulders here. See if you can bring your chest a little bit closer towards your thighs. Taking a couple of deep, relaxing breaths here. Then releasing your hand from the bind, placing both hands onto the mat. If you can't quite catch the mat, feel free to find a bend in your knees as deep as you need. On the inhale, you're going to find a halfway lift or a flat back here. Your hands can stay on the mat or bring them onto your shins or onto your thighs, whatever allows you to find a flat back. Then placing your hand back down again, stepping both feet back into plank pose. In your plank here, pushing into the mat with your 10 fingers. Your shoulder is over your wrist, making sure that you're not piking your hips up too high or dropping them down too low. So you're engaging your core in hugging everything in tight. On the exhale, either your knees, chest, chin comes onto the mat or lowering down to low plank, your chaturanga. On the inhale, rolling forward and up into your cobra or up dog, rolling your shoulders back, pushing your chest forward. Then tucking your toes, bringing your hips back up, grounding your heels down, coming back to your downward dog. Inhaling, lifting your heels off the mat, come onto your tiptoes, find a bend in your knees, and you can step, hop, or handstand your way forward into your forward fold at the top of the mat. Take an inhale, finding a halfway lift, a flat back, and on the exhale, folding forward a little bit deeper. Inhaling, reaching your palms all the way back up towards the sky, rising back up to standing. Exhaling, palms back down to heart center, coming back to your mountain pose. Now shifting your weight onto your left leg, getting ready to set up for your dancer pose. Making sure you feel strong and rooted into your left leg here. Bend your right knee so that your heel comes closer towards your sitting bone. Your knee is pointing towards the mat. Then with your right hand, palm facing open towards the sky, grab a hold of the inside of the right foot, so the big toe side of the right foot. Extend your left arm up towards the sky, fingers pointing upwards. And once you make sure that you have found your balance, start to extend your right leg towards the back of the mat as you shift your body forward, perhaps extending your left arm beyond the front of the mat. Finding your back bend here, still focusing on finding a lift in your chest. Perhaps you feel the right shoulder open a little bit more. See if you can extend your right leg a little bit further towards the sky. Maintaining that balance in the left leg, nice and strong. We are going to slowly move into a warrior 3. So making sure you have your balance, slowly start to release your right hand from the right foot. Extending your right hand forward while you straighten your right leg out towards the back, bringing your body to parallel with the mat. Both arms extended forward towards the front of the mat. Feel the energy draw from the front as if someone is pulling your hands forward, as well as from the back as if someone is pulling your legs back. Engaging your core here and both legs. You can find a slight bend into the left knee if that helps you find more balance. Try to close your right hips down so that you square your hips towards the mat. See if you can lift your right leg just a little bit more, squeezing in the glutes, the hamstring. If at any point you lose your balance, no worries, just come right back. Sometimes we've got it, sometimes we don't. That's okay. Now making our way into our crescent lunge, start to bend your left knee if they're not bent already. Then slowly with control, sending your right foot towards the back of the mat. Placing your right foot down at the back of the mat, your right leg is shooting straight back. Your left knee is bent, both foot and knee is facing towards the front of the mat. Hips are square towards the front of the mat as well. Doing a quick check here to make sure that your left knee is not surpassing your left ankle. If it is, feel free to make the appropriate adjustments. Sending your arms up overhead, fingers pointing towards the sky, biceps beside your ears. See if you can commit to that lunge. Sink your hips down a little bit lower without bending your back knee. Then on the inhale, you're going to open your arms up into cactus arm again, pushing your elbows out towards the side, arms 90 degrees. Finding a lift in your heart here. Imagine that light is coming through from the sky into your heart space. One breath here. Then we're going to melt our hands down by our side. Bring your hands behind your hips to interlace. Moving into our humble warrior, you can keep your back heel off the mat or place it down at a 45-degree angle to help you find more stability in this pose. So interlacing your hands behind your hips here on the inhale, roll your shoulders back. And on the exhale, lean forward so that the line from your hips to your head is now creating a 45-degree angle with the mat. With your left shoulder on the inside of the left leg, start to descend down towards the mat here, bringing our forehead closer towards the mat, lifting your interlaced hands above your head, reaching up towards the sky. While working on finding strength in both legs, you're also working on opening up the shoulders here. Pausing in this pose for a moment to breathe. See if you can sink down a little bit deeper on your next exhale. Then on the next inhale, lift yourself back up to standing again. Open your arms up towards the right side of the mat, coming into our warrior two, closing your right foot down so that the outer edge of the right foot is now parallel towards the back of the mat. Your left foot is facing towards the front of the mat. Left knee is also going in the same direction as the left foot. Taking a moment here to check your alignment to see if your left heel is in line with the right arch. Your hips are turned towards the right side. Roll your shoulders back as you lift your arms to parallel with the mat. Tucking your tailbone under. See if you can sink a little bit lower into your left leg while making sure that your left knee is not surpassing your left ankle again. Commit to that warrior two. And whenever you're ready, flipping your front palm up, placing the back palm onto the back leg, either on your thigh or down towards your calf. Sweep your left hand back into a reverse warrior, making sure that your right hand is light on that back leg and you're not sinking into the right shoulder here. Your spine is parallel towards the sides of the mat, not collapsing forward or opening up too much. As you reach your left hand overhead towards the back of the mat, feel the extension through the left side of the body. On the next inhale, return back to warrior two. This time we are going to place our left elbow onto our left knee. Or if you're a little bit more open in the hips, maybe placing your left hand on the inside of the left foot, fingers facing forward. Another option is to place the block on the inside of the left foot and placing your hand on that block. Reaching your right hands, now sweeping it towards the front of the mat. Find an opening in your chest as opposed to collapsing forward. In this pose, perhaps you feel a bit of a deeper opening in the left inner thigh. As you reach your right hand towards the front of the mat, feeling also the stretch on the right side of the body. And now bringing our right hand to place onto the right side of the mat on the inner side of the left foot, placing the left hand on the outer side of the left foot towards the left side of the mat, turning our hips to square towards the front of the mat, bringing your right heel off the mat, coming onto your right toes here. Your right knee is still off the mat. Pausing for a moment here in our runner's lunge. Then lifting your left hand towards the sky, palm and body opening up towards the left side of the mat, coming into an easy twist. Moving into our side plank on the right side, make sure that your right hand is firmly grounded into the mat here. Your shoulder is over your right wrist. Your left arm still extended up. Start to move your left foot towards the back of the mat, taking whichever variation of the side plank that you wish to find today, whether that means placing your left foot in front of the right knee for more support, placing your left foot in front of the right foot, or stacking the left foot on top of the right foot, keeping both feet flexed. And if there's any other variation that you'd like to take, perhaps lifting your left foot off the mat, coming into starfish, or a side plank split for all you seasoned yogis, feel free to make this side plank your own. Wherever you are, make sure you're engaging the core there, lifting up from the right obliques. See if you can lift your hips up a little bit higher. Push into the right hand, holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1. For those of you whose left foot is still on the mat, see if you can hover it off the mat. For those of you in starfish or side plank, hold there for a moment. We're going to move into Wild Thing next. Lifting your left foot off the mat here, start to place your left foot behind your right knee and turning your body open towards the sky here. On the inhale, lift your hips up towards the sky, finding a back bend with your right leg straight. Your left knee is bent. Pause here for your next breath and settle into the pose. See if you can lift your hips and your heart a little bit higher. Your left hand is reaching for the front of the mat. Then on your next exhale, bring your left hand back down onto the mat. Turn your body to face the mat. Bring your left foot back in line with your right one at the back of the mat. Coming into our plank pose, setting up here in your strong plank, your core is still engaged. Moving through a vinyasa here. On the exhale, knees chest chin or chaturanga. Inhale, rise up to cobra or up dog. Roll your shoulders back. On the exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips back up, returning home to your downward dog. Taking a couple of moments here in your downward dog to breathe. Doing whatever you need to reset your body. If you need to take a couple of moments to wipe your sweat, take a sip of water, or come rest in your child's pose, feel free to do so. From wherever you are, come meet me in a still downward dog. Together, we're going to lift our heels off the mat, bend our knees, come on our tiptoes, and make your way forward towards the front of the mat into your forward fold, however you wish. On the inhale, find a halfway lift or flat back. Exhale, folding forward a little bit deeper. Then inhaling, rising all the way back up again, reaching your hands towards the sky, palms to touch. Looking up through your hands here, feel the extension through the side body. Exhale, bringing your palms down to your heart center, your thumb in the middle of your heart space. Let's move on to the other side, shall we? Now that we've done this one time before, we're just going to move a little bit faster this round. Bringing your weight onto your right leg, making sure that your right foot is grounded into the mat, your leg is firm and ready to support you as you move into your dancer pose. So bending your left knee, bringing your left heel closer towards your left sitting bone. Your left knee is pointing towards the mat, toes pointing towards the sky. Then with your left palm facing open, bring your hand to grab a hold onto the inside of the left foot, the big toe side. Extending your right arms up, reaching your right hand towards the sky. Find your balance here first on the right foot. Once you've made sure you've found your balance, start to shift your left foot back, reaching your right hands forward, coming into your dancer pose. Find your balance on the right leg here. See if you can find a lift in your chest as you feel your left shoulder opening up. Then slowly but smoothly, we're going to make our way into a warrior three. So releasing your left hand from your left foot, start to extend your left foot towards the back of the mat as you sweep your left hand forward. So now both hands are extended forward, your left leg is extended back, your body is parallel towards the mat. Hips are square towards the mat. So if you find that your left hip is starting to open, see if you can close it down. Breathing here to find your balance. Then slowly moving into a crescent lunge, nice and controlled. Start to bend your right knee if they're not bent already. Send your left foot towards the back of your mat, placing only your left toes at the back of the mat, your heels still off the mat. Reaching both arms up towards the sky, biceps beside your ears. Bending into your right leg, making sure that your right knee is not surpassing your right ankle here. If it is, make the necessary adjustments. Then with your hips squared towards the front of the mat, see if you can commit to that lunge. Sink your hips down a little bit lower without bending into your left leg. Extending both arms up towards the sky, bicep by your ears. Then on the next inhale, opening your elbows out towards the side into your cactus arm, arms a 90-degree angle. Finding a lift in your heart, leaning yourself back to find a slight back bend. Then melting your hands down by your side, interlacing them behind your hips, setting up to go into humble warrior. Again, you can keep your back foot as it is with your heel off the mat, or if you'd like more support, feel free to turn the back foot down 45 degrees angle. Inhaling to roll your shoulders back, lifting your heart up. And then on the exhale, lean forward 45 degrees, then bringing your interlaced hand overhead, sinking down forward, bringing your forehead closer towards the mat with your right shoulder on the inside of the right knee. Breathing here, finding your balance, finding your breath. As you feel your shoulders open, see if you can sink down a little bit deeper. On the next inhale, lifting your body back up, releasing your hand from the bind here, setting up in a warrior two, opening your arms out towards the side, turning your body to face the left side of the mat. Your back foot is fully grounded now if they were not on the mat already. The outer edge of your back foot is parallel towards the back of the mat. Your left knee and left foot is shooting straight forward. Checking your alignment here to see if your right heel is in line with the arch of the left foot, and if your right knee is surpassing your right ankle or not, and making the necessary adjustment. Floating your arms up and extending it out with your right arm reaching for the front of the mat, your left arm reaching for the back, parallel to the mat here. Tucking your tailbone under and rolling your shoulder back. Pausing here, seeing if you can sink a little bit lower into the front leg. Then flipping our right palm up, Placing the left hand onto the left leg on the thigh or the calf, reaching your right hand overhead, sweeping it towards the back of the mat, coming into our reversed warrior. Again, making sure that your left hand is light on the back leg and not sinking into the leg or sinking into your left shoulder. As you reach your right hand towards the back of the mat, feel the extension, the stretch on the right side of the body. Inhaling, coming back to Warrior Two. Then on the exhale, placing your right elbow onto your right knee or placing your right hand onto the inside of the right foot or onto a block here. Then sweeping your left hand overhead, now reaching your left hand towards the front of the mat. Making sure that you're not collapsing down towards the mat, but rather opening your chest up. This time feeling the stretch, the extension on the left side of the body. Perhaps also feeling a deeper stretch on the right inner thigh here. Then bringing your left hand down to place on the left side of the mat on the inside of the right foot. Moving your right hand on the other side of the right foot, coming into our runner's lunge, turning your hips to square with the mat. Your left leg is still extended straight back, you're on your left toes, your right foot is grounded, knees bent at a 90-degree angle. Making sure that the left hand is firmly planted onto the mat. Inhale to reach the right arms up towards the sky, opening your body up towards the right side in your easy twist. And you know what's coming next. We are moving into our side plank on the left side. So with your left hand firmly planted, making sure that your shoulder is over your wrist, start to move into your chosen variation of the side plank today, whether moving your right foot in front of the left knee for more support, moving the right foot in front of the left foot, or stacking the right foot on top of the left foot, both feet flexed. And again, for more advanced practitioners, feel free to come into any other variation that you have in your practice, such as starfish or side plank split. Engaging your core here, lifting from the left oblique. See if you can lift your hips up a little bit higher. Really push into the mat with the left hand. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. See if you can lift your right foot off the mat here, hovering it for a moment. Before moving into your wild thing, placing the right foot behind the left knee, your left leg is straight. Inhale to reach your right arms overhead, reaching for the front of the mat. Turn your body open towards the sky. Inhaling to lift your hips up, lift your chest up, coming to find your back bend here. Pause here for a breath. As you breathe into the opening of that heart space. And whenever you're ready, bringing your right hand back down onto the mat, squaring your hips and body towards the mat, sending your right foot in line with your left foot to come into your plank pose. Still engaging your core here, pausing here for the inhale. On the exhale, lower down knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling to rise up into cobra or your upward dog. And then exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up into your downward dog. Taking a moment here in your downward dog to again come back to your body, reset. So if you lost your breath at any moment, pausing here to catch your breath. If you need to come into child's pose, feel free to do so. If you need to take a sip of water or wipe your sweat, you're more than welcome to. And wherever you are, come meet me in a still downward dog. Pausing here for a moment. On the next inhale, lift your heels off the mat, come on your tiptoes, bend your knees, and make your way forward into your last forward fold. With this forward fold, moving your feet together so that your big toe and heels are touching, perhaps your knees are also touching, preparing for our only chair of the practice today. So whenever you're ready, on the inhale, sink your hips down and lift your arms up beside your ears, coming into your chair pose. With your legs engaged, your core engaged, weight onto your heels, finding a natural curve in your low back. Pausing here for the inhale. And then on the exhale, I want you to bend your elbows, open your arms out towards the side again into your cactus arm, opening your chest up, finding a deeper arch in your back so that you're in a chair with a back bend. Then slowly we're going to sink down, bringing our bums onto the mat to the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, you got this, we're almost there, 2, and 1. Come sitting onto the mat, your sitting bones grounded, bringing your arms around your knees, curling into a small ball, giving yourself a hug. Wrapped in your own embrace, just notice for a moment how that feels. Stay here for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, slowly we're going to make our way onto our back, rocking onto our back here. Just rocking back and forth a couple of rounds here to massage your entire spine. And then come laying on your back, bringing the soles of your feet onto the mat, your knees pointing towards the sky, placing your arms by your side, palm facing down. See if you can walk your feet a little bit closer towards your sitting bones so that perhaps your fingers come to graze your heels. Your feet are about hips width apart, knees pointing straight up, not splayed out or inwards. Setting up to go into bridge pose here. If you have a block beside you and you'd like to make sure you have the proper engagement in your lower body, feel free to grab the block and place it between your knees, squeezing the block in with knees. Then on the inhale, pushing your hands into the mat, lifting your hips up towards the sky, one vertebra at a time. Your weight is in your heels, engaging your thighs, your glutes, your hamstrings, as well as your core and your back muscle. Your hands can stay by the side where it is right now. Otherwise, you can also shimmy your shoulders in towards the midline, bringing your hand to interlace behind your hips. See if that allows you to lift your hips up a little bit more. Pausing here for about 5 breaths. Counting your own breath. And whenever you're done with your 5 breaths, slowly bring your hips back down onto the mat. Hug your knees into your chest and rock left and right to massage your lower back. We are going to do one more round of that. This time you can choose to stay in your bridge, or if you have wheel in your practice and are confident you can safely move into it, feel free to come into your wheel. So bringing your hands down by your side again, setting up for another round of bridge or wheel. On the inhale, lift your hips up towards the sky. For those of you who are staying in bridge, feel free to stay and breathe here. For those of you who are going into wheel, placing your palm beside your ears, fingertips pointing towards your toes. Engaging your arm and pushing into the mat with your 10 fingers, lifting yourself up, bringing the crown of your head onto the mat first. And then once you found that stability, slowly push yourself up into the full expression of your wheel. From here, trying to focus on straightening your arms, pushing your chest towards the back of the mat. And for you seasoned yogis, if there's any other variation of the wheel that you'd like to take, feel free to play around here. Again, staying here for about 5 breaths, counting your own breath. And then whenever you're done, slowly lowering yourself back down the way you came, hugging your knees into your chest, rocking left and right. Nice, long, deep breaths here. Then releasing your left leg, extending it forward, placing your left leg onto the mat. Simply hug your right knee into your chest. Ground your low back, ground your hips. Extending your right arm open towards the right side, grabbing a hold of the right knee with your left hand. Twisting your right leg over towards the left side of the mat, coming into your supine twist. Making sure that your body is one long line from your head to your toes. Then turning your head so that your gaze is over the right shoulder. Maybe closing your eyes down and fully relaxing into this pose. Coming back to center again, extend your right leg towards the front of the mat. Hug your left knee into your chest, interlacing both hands in front of the left shin. Pausing here as you ground your low back, trying to bring your hips closer towards the mat. Relaxing both shoulders down, sticking it back onto the mat if it's lifted. Then extending the left arm out towards the side, grabbing a hold of your left knee with your right hand, twisting your left leg over towards the right side of the mat this time. Turn your gaze over the left shoulder, and again, maybe closing your eyes so you can fully relax into this pose. Returning back to center, hugging your knees in one last time. Then extending both legs out towards the front of the mat, coming into your last pose of the practice, your Shavasana. Placing your feet wider than your hips, about mat's width apart. Allow your toes to fall open like a book. Bringing your arms by your side with your palm facing up, relaxing your shoulders down and closing your eyes. Allow your whole body to melt onto the mat. Returning your focus to your breath, just breathing normally here. With every exhale, seeing if you can allow your body to surrender a little deeper into the mat, knowing that you are fully supported here. Relaxing your toes, relaxing your ankle, relax your calves, your knees, your thighs. Allow the hips to fall heavy, relaxing your belly, your lower back, middle back, and upper back. Relaxing your fingers, your hands, your forearms, your elbows, and your upper arms. Allowing your shoulders to melt. Relaxing your neck, your head, unclenching your jaw. Allow the tongue to fall naturally. Unfurrow your eyebrows and your forehead. And if there are any thoughts lingering in your head, just see if you can allow it to float away, moving through you like clouds moving through the sky. Taking a moment to come back to our intention of keeping an open heart, accepting anything and everything that arises with a warm embrace. And perhaps closing this practice off, making it your intention to bring this quality of openness off the mat. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as it serves you, coming back whenever you're ready. Thank you for joining me in this practice, and I hope to see you again on the mat.